BLUF Gaming here with a 3 to 4 belt balancer that you can use in your Factorio 0.15x factories. This balancer takes in 3 lanes, and regardless if it has all one item or 2 different items on each belt, one in the left and one in the right lanes, that will be maintained when it comes out and distributed in an even fashion. This may have limited use because 3 to 4 comes up so seldomly, but I wanted to include this video because of how elegant the design is. As you can see, anything that comes up these 2 center belts is going to be evenly distributed in the exact same way that a 2 to 4 belt balancer would act. Everything else that comes through this design will find its way into this splitter, and then through recycling either go back through this even distribution here or find its way to this splitter, which you can see has an even distribution by giving only to the final 2 splitters. Feel free to use this design or any alteration of it in your factories if you can find a use for it, but I kind of have a hunch that it's going to be seldom at best. If you want to see more details about how to build this from the bottom up or how it works, just watch the rest of this video. Okay, let's build this from the ground up and talk about how it works. It looks really complicated, but actually it's one of the more elegant models that we've made in this series. We're going to start out with our 3 input lanes, and then we're immediately going to split them. Just like that. And this isn't an input lane, but if we call these 4 input lanes and we just look at our center 2, let's go ahead and send those up 3 spaces, and now we make a standard 2 to 4 splitter. Okay, we still have to handle this import lane, so let's curve it around like this. Use an underground belt to bring it to the other side. Now once it comes over here, we will immediately split it. And we're going to do a reverse splitter here. Send that output there. And the goal of this splitter is to send everything that comes through it both to this and that splitter. These go to all 4 lanes. So if we can make everything from this splitter go into those 2 splitters like this, we know that everything that goes into this splitter will be evenly distributed. Finally, we have this and this lane to take care of. So what we're going to do is just set up a standard recycle belt that a lot of our designs have, and we're done. So let's talk through that a little bit more. When our goods come in, each of these belts carries 1/3 of the total load. Half of this 1/3, so 1/6, ends up on this belt, and this has 2/3, so half of this 2/3 is 1/3 on this belt. So it's 1/6 and 1/3 on the belt, or you could call that 3/6. Half of the entire incoming load are on these 2 belts. Well, that gets split here and then split again here. So anything on these 2 belts is perfectly distributed, and we've already taken care of half of the entire load perfectly distributed. So what else are we missing? Well, we haven't covered what goes this direction. Going this direction, we're going to come around and enter this splitter. Now before I go beyond this splitter, let's talk about the other half of this splitter as well. You see the other half of this belt through this splitter goes in here. That's everything we haven't accounted for yet. Everything going through this end of this splitter and everything going through this end of this splitter goes into this one. If anything in this splitter chooses to go to the recycle lane, it will be split again If it goes up here, we know it's evenly distributed, so we don't have to worry about it. And if it goes back in here, well, it either goes back through over and over, which some will, or it goes this direction. So everything else that we haven't accounted for of the original load is coming along this belt, which again sends half to this side and half to this side, evenly distributing everything. So this looks very complicated, and it only has limited use because there won't be too many times that you need to take 3 incoming belts and split them out to 4. But I just like this one so much that I wanted to cover it. So let me go ahead and set up a load, and then we can see it in action so you can be certain it will work. Okay, we have a load ready to go in. We have inserters in the left lanes, and then we have passive provider chests in the right. Just what I had handy. As with all of the balancers, anytime you have different items in the left and right lanes, that will be preserved in the outgoing lanes. As you can see, we had even loads in all of the incoming belts, and our outgoing belts are also matching up evenly. The number of items I had wasn't quite divisible by 4, but as you can see, it's close enough that you can tell it's an even distribution. That's all I have for now. I might come back and make it 3 to 5 at some point, but I don't really think it has a lot of use, so unless someone requests it, it'll probably be a while before I get to that one. I'm going to jump ahead to 3 to 6, which is very important because it's useful for loading train depots. Train cars can only have 6 inserters on them, so the magic number of 6 comes up a lot in Factorio when dealing with belts. Thanks for watching Bottom Line Up Front. Let me know in the comments if you have any special requests. I'm not just doing belt balancers, it's just what I'm doing first. So if you need to know how to get something accomplished, I'll try to get that video done ahead of time. Thanks for watching, engineers. I'll see you next time.